New satellite video coming into Fox Weather just showing you Hurricane Erin churning across the Atlantic. It's forecast to strengthen at this point forward, already seeing winds of 130 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is actually significantly fallen. It's interesting. It's an inverse relationship. The lower the pressure goes, the higher and perhaps more intense the storm becomes. Here's what that inverse relationship looks like. But look at those winds, though. Clocking at 130 miles per hour. Our last advisory that was at 2 a.m., it was only at 100 miles per hour. I want to bring Jane into the discussion because, Jane, what's interesting is that if this had achieved a increase in winds of 35 miles per hour, that technically is the definition for rapid intensification. So it is just shy of it. But the National Hurricane Center also noting that the wind gusts in this are actually higher than the 130.
And also noting that strengthening is still possible throughout the day today. So even though at this point where we stand at about 6 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, we're literally just shy of rapid intensification by meeting the definition of that criteria, we could easily get there even perhaps by the next update. So I think, at the end of the day, whether or not we achieve it, this is a powerful storm. And in a lot of ways, I think that the Caribbean islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, very lucky to not be on the dirty side of this storm. But those swells, you have to understand, a storm this large and this powerful still carries with it a lot of energy. And that energy is going to transfer to the waves, to the ocean, and that's something that we're really concerned with over the next, I would say, 24, 48 hours. But you look at the forecast cone, while strengthening, yes, north of the islands, we will start to see some kind of leveling and eventually a fall off with that strength. But I don't want people to think, okay, it's not that big of a deal once we get up through about Tuesday and Wednesday, it's weakening. It's going to be a massive system, and that energy is still very present. So, I think that the big waves, the beach erosion, the rip current risk is definitely at an all-time high right now.
Yeah, and Jane, to your point, you'll note that some of our forecast models are suggesting that we could see perhaps a high-end Category 4. And yes, that some of those lines are indicating perhaps a Category 5 hurricane. Obviously, that's a major hurricane. It doesn't get any bigger than that on the Saffir-Simpson scale, so we'll watch that. I think that seeing that Cat 5 would be, it's an outlier for sure, but to see this strengthen from a Category 2 to a Category 4 in literally a 3-hour period was quite dramatic.
And look at the satellite presentation. I mean, when you look at a healthy tropical system, typically this is what you see as far as, that textbook definition, that pinhole eye with some deep convection around the outside of that core. 400
miles in length. I measured about 450 miles in width. Just to put that into perspective for you, this is the size of Montana. So it's a huge system. You can see the eye that you were just talking about, Jane. It's very well defined right here, that center of circulation. I zoomed in really close on this just so you could get a great view of this. This is what our enhanced satellite product looks like. Just to give you some perspective, the white here just indicates really high cloud tops. So again,
and stronger clouds, stronger storms.
Correct.
And if you've noticed, for anybody who's been following along with this path, we did see it too. The overall motion for this storm is to the west-northwest. So again, it's curving away from the islands. But I think we'll have to watch how those storms behave the next couple hours. Just a slight jog to the west-southwest, doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things, but could certainly be an indication that we get, maybe another band get a little closer to the islands a bit and bring more of an impact. But
yeah, and this is one of the reasons, Jane, why we could still see further strengthening. Not only is there not a ton of shear out ahead of it, so in other words, there's not a whole lot of terribly strong winds that might decapitate this thing, but the waters here are still plenty warm. We're talking mid to upper 80s as this thing continues to kind of press toward the west-northwest. And of course, the buoys out there already registering, 30-plus mile per hour winds. And that's a little further away from the actual center of circulation itself.
And you're kind of on the east side of that storm, so the advancing side. So you are going to get those nastier winds and bigger wave heights. We're already topping 12 to 15 feet in the last couple of hours. But at the end of the day, I think this morning has been really impressive, what we've seen through the overnight. Now, the hurricane hunters, they are going to continue to go throughout missions throughout the day today. So that data is going to be very critical. But I wouldn't be surprised if by that 8 o'clock advisory coming in this morning, not only do we continue to see rapid strengthening, but we're in that window right now of rapid intensification. So Erin definitely overperforming at this point in time.
Yeah, and again, not terribly surprising either. A lot of our forecast models have been indicating a major, powerful hurricane for days now. So I'm not surprised to not just see a Category 4, but I'm also not surprised that this is right on the verge. Should we see just a literally a 6 mile per hour increase by the next update that we get, that would then define that rapid intensification, which could very well happen. We'll, of course, continue to monitor it throughout the day today.
Absolutely.